New hat. Also, Tom Hooper angle. Ooh, am I turning pretentious? It must mean I'm really getting into the spirit of filmmaking, I suppose. Well, in any case, let's get back on the subject of Quentin Tarantino. Alright, fine. I'll shoot it normally. In any case, last review I covered the Quentin Tarantino film Inglourious Basterds. Well, now, it's only fitting that for the next film to look at in my film studies class it would be what's considered to be the quintessential Quentin Tarantino film. And that film is Pulp Fiction, released in 1994, starring John Travolta, Samuel L. Jackson, Bruce Willis, and Uma Thurman. In this one, there's definitely a lot less of a story than there was in Inglourious Basterds, and that movie was already more of a series of events than it really was a full coherent narrative, but this one goes an extra mile. That is to say, scenes are not told precisely in order. It's a very jumbled chronology. The most that can be made as far as story is concerned is it's about the series of misadventures faced by two hitmen, played by John Travolta and Samuel L. Jackson, and a wanted boxing champion played by Bruce Willis. Though, mostly, again, it's about a series of strange events and really clever banter. This film is packed with it, though that is Tarantino's trademark in many respects. I will say safely that this is a big favorite of mine. I just love how this film is paced, how it's organized, the acting, the writing is unbelievable, the editing's very interesting, and in classic Tarantino fashion, you've got dialogue that's filled with ridiculous banter as well as an inordinate amount of swearing, a very strangely complicated plot that's not exactly the easiest thing to follow, a story that moves fairly steadily but is often very choppy, as well as characters that you're made to hate so much that you just want to destroy them, not just kill them, but humiliate them so much before doing it and make sure that it delivers. And when you hear them groaning in pain when they get their comeuppance, oh, it's satisfying. Well, this delivers on every level in that regard. This is the perfect form of escapism for any casual couch potato, that's for sure. But granted, it's not for the squeamish, for those who can't stand huge quantities of swearing and bloody violence and drug use, then this is definitely something not to get too close to, but for those that enjoy films that feature that sort of stuff, this is going to be heaven for those of you who haven't seen it, though I don't think there are many of you who haven't seen this film. What exactly can I say about this film that hasn't been said already? I mean, this film has been analyzed by so many film students. I mean, this is the film to look at for many film students. This has been analyzed to death. And I'd go into greater detail on this, but man, I'd just take forever, and since I'm too lazy to put in clips of the movie to not make it boring for you guys, I can't right at this point. But I can safely say this is one of the most interesting films I've ever seen. I was really eager to take a look at this film when I heard about it, particularly how clever the dialogue was, but it was further than what I was expecting. To say nothing of the fact that for how memorable the dialogue is, usually it's not even what's driving the events. It's just stuff that people talk about. Yet it somehow makes sense because in many ways it's what people in this situation might talk about. So in many ways, even though this could easily be a plot-driven narrative, and there are many films like this that are very plot-driven, this one really isn't. It's very character-driven, and every performance just really shines, especially in my opinion Samuel L. Jackson. But the fact that John Travolta and Uma Thurman do such great performances in this film also is quite something, because neither of them I can say I'm a huge fan of, but man, in this film they're both very enjoyable in their own rights, and Bruce Willis has a great story to himself, and even the small parts are terrific. Especially that cameo appearance from Christopher Walken, which is one of the most awkward things ever. On the whole, Pulp Fiction is just such an entertaining film. It's very cleverly constructed, it's enjoyable in many respects, it takes advantage of the mindset of any casual filmgoer and makes it something of an experience. Instead of being a plot-driven narrative, it establishes character and atmosphere with a very loose plot. Everything about it just feels like it's something out of reality almost, in many respects, with maybe the exception of the fact that every villainous character gets their comeuppance, which isn't always the case. And there's that great feeling by the end that one has experienced something really entertaining, but got thought-provoked at the exact same time, especially with that concluding monologue that Samuel L. Jackson has, which technically in the chronology of the film isn't the end of the movie, but the movie ends with that scene. So, if for some reason you have not seen this film, go watch it. It's worth your time, if you can handle extreme violence, swearing, and drug use. So, I give this a worth owning on the worth meter, and out of 5, this is a 5 out of 5 movie for me. It's easily one of my favorites, and it's not just because it's such an influential film, it's because I do honestly find it a very entertaining piece of work. Thank you for your time.